All right, so we're gonna go through a 5 to 10 minute joint prep routine that you can do in the morning when you wake up, throughout the day, or at night before you go to bed. A couple things before we get started. With all of these joints, we're gonna try and go through as big a range of motion as possible. So you can imagine whatever joint you're working, you have a marker on it and you're trying to draw as big of a circle as you possibly can. Another thing, as you go through this, if you were to go into pain, I want you to carve around that pain. So if I were to go through a shoulder car right here and I started to get pain right here, I would work around it and avoid it for the entire circle. For all of these joints, you can do anywhere kind of between 3 and 5, 10 reps. If there's a specific joint that gives you a problem, if you feel like it's constantly stiff, spend some more time doing those. And then the ones that you're fine with, you don't have to do as much work. For each joint, we want to try and move as slow and controlled as possible. What you can imagine is that someone's giving you resistance as you go through the car. So if I were to go through my shoulder, imagine someone's giving you resistance as you go up, rather than kind of just flying through it like so. So we're going to start a seated kneeling position, and we're going to go top down. So we're going to start with our neck. To get set up, you're going to push your hands into the ground to create a little bit of tension. From there, you're going to start by tucking your chin. And then you're going to reach over to your collarbone on the side, try and look over that shoulder, up to the ceiling, other shoulder, then back to center. Then we'll reverse it. Try and scrape this collarbone as we look over the shoulder, up to the ceiling, and the opposite side right there. Lightly pushing into the ground with your hands on that one will help keep tension in your upper back, so that way we're just moving through our neck, we're not moving through our shoulder blades or our mid-back at all. From there, we are going to move through our mid-back. We're going to fold the hands across the chest. We're going to tuck our chin and then fold at the ribs like we're doing a sit-up. From here, we're going to rotate as much as possible to the side, bend as much as possible to the side, then extend with our chest up to the ceiling, bend to the opposite side, and then rotate back to center. From there, we'll reverse it. We'll rotate, bend, extend, bend, back to center. Good. From there, we're going to move the entire spine. So we're going to then move to quadruped for a minute. I'm going to demo this at 2 different angles. So we're going to try and segment our spine one vertebrae at a time. So just moving one after the other, after the other, after the other. So you'll set up with your hands below your shoulders, knees below your hips, and you're going to set up with your spine somewhere in a neutral position. From there, we'll start at our lower back by pulling our belly button to the ground, then our ribs to the ground, then our chest, collarbones, and finally chin up to the ceiling, and then we'll reverse it. One more view from the other side. Starting in the middle, starting at your lower back, tucking your belly button to the ground, ribs, chest, neck. You'll notice through that, I'm making sure that I'm keeping my shoulders directly over my hands and my knees directly below my hips, so that way I'm not rocking back and forth as I do it. From there, we're going to move to our shoulders. So we're going to go back into that seated kneeling position right here. We're going to try and keep our body squared up the entire time to limit rotation through the spine. So we'll square it up, go one hand on our chest. We're going to go thumb forward, and we're going to gradually start going up to the ceiling. Once we max out how far overhead we can reach, we're going to pause, rotate through the upper arm as we continue to reach back. As we finish up, we're going to continue to rotate so that way our palm is out and thumb is back, and then we'll reverse from there. Once you finish the left, repeat on the right. From there, we're going to move both of our shoulder blades at the same time. So we'll start with our arms straight up overhead and then move out about 20 degrees in each direction. We're going to set our spine in a neutral position and keep it there. So keep your head in the same position, keep your lower back and your mid back in the same position. We'll start by reaching our fingertips as far forward as possible. This is spreading our shoulder blades. Then we'll go up to our ears, drive them back, pack them down. Try and keep your arms at the same elevation the whole time, so no going up and down a crazy amount. Once you go up, forward, and back in one direction, reverse and hit the same amount of reps in the other direction. From there, we'll go to our elbows. We'll start with our palms facing forward, elbows pinned in tight. We're gonna curl up as much as possible, rotate as much as possible, and then press down. And then we'll reverse. From there, we'll move to our wrists. So we're gonna do one wrist at a time. Whatever arm or wrist isn't doing the work, that's gonna hold the working forearm in place. So we'll keep it in that position. We're gonna start by driving our hand down to the ground, reaching to the outside, knuckles up to the ceiling, crossing our body, and then back to that starting position. And then we'll reverse it. Up to the ceiling, outside, down, drawing as big of a circle as possible the entire time. So do your amount of reps on the right, amount of reps on the left. From there, we're gonna move to our hips. So we're gonna set up in a side lying position. You can use a yoga block, a pillow, whatever, to get set up on the ground so your head's not in an uncomfortable position. We're gonna set up in a straight line from head to toe. So knees are locked out, hips are locked out, and we're gonna go arms out in front. To create tension and keep the rest of our body still while we're just working that top hip, we're gonna reach our arms out in front, drive our arms down into the ground, and drive our bottom leg down into the ground. From there, we'll bend that top knee and hold it in that position, and we'll start our hip car. So we'll start by trying to scrape the ground as we pull up our knee as high as possible. Once we get there, we're gonna pause, open our leg up to the ceiling, pause, rotate and reach back. So we'll drive our heel forward as we kick back. We'll finish the rep and then reverse it. Start by reaching back, up to the ceiling. Now we'll rotate that heel forward as we drive our knee forward. And then we'll try and scrape the ground again. Same thing, however many reps you do on the right, make sure you do them on the left as well. From there, we'll move to our knees. So we'll set up in this seated position right here. We're gonna hug the big part of our leg into our chest and hold it there. From there, we're just gonna work some rotation to start. So you'll pull your foot up to your knee right there and just think about rotating your shin bone from side to side. You can think about your foot waving to the ground. We'll get as many rotations as you want in the knee. After that, we'll do some flexions and extensions. So hold that top leg in place, reach up to the ceiling, pause for a second, bring it back down. Good. After one knee, we would do the other knee, and then we're gonna set up in a similar position to move our ankles. Or we'll still hug the top part of our leg right here and keep it in place. And then our opposite hand is gonna go around our shin bone to hold that in place, similar to when we moved our wrist. So we'll choke hold that. We're gonna start by pointing our toes down to the ground as far as possible, reaching out to the side as we scrape the corner and come up towards the ceiling. Then reach across our body as we drop down into that bottom position. And then we'll reverse it. Once you finish that up, repeat on the other side. So So that's the entire joint prep routine. Like I said in the beginning, you can do however many reps you want with whatever joint. Yeah, you can do this in the morning, you can do this in the middle of the day, you can do this at night, you can do it throughout the day. Yeah, just move your body whenever you get the chance.